Sorry about that. My phone ran out of energy. I forgot to charge it last night. All right, you cook the ham and kielbasa until they are tender. My ham just finished. The kielbasa has been cooling about 15-20 minutes. It cooked a little sooner. Now what you're going to have to do is let this cool a bit, especially the ham for what we're going to do. What you're going to do is take this skin off of the kielbasa. You're actually going to peel it right off. If your kielbasa is hot, just be careful. It's hot and I'm trying to keep my hands cool. Well, I'm going to continue peeling the skin off of the kielbasa, and I will be back. Because that's what you have to do, is actually peel it. Okay. Now what you're going to do is chop it up. Because you're going to put it in a food processor, or if you have a KitchenAid and you have the grinder attachment, you can use that. If you have a hand mill, you can. Or if you have a pasta machine that sits there and has the attachments to grind, you can use that as well. But we're going to grind the kielbasa and the ham up. First I want to cut it up in smaller pieces. I'm going to be using my food processor. Blender won't work that easily. You're going to do the same thing with this ham. You're just going to cut it up in pieces. When my husband got really, really sick, he started getting sick, he tried to throw me away. He cursed me out. He said horrible things. But I wouldn't leave. I stood there and took every bit of it. And when he was in the hospital, I asked him, why did he do it? And he told me. He didn't want me around when he was dying. But I didn't listen. I stayed with him. And he finally got better. It seemed to be a short hiatus of being better. When I didn't know what medication, I thought I was feeding him properly, and the medicine and it would work together. I found out the medicine was destroying and blocking everything I was trying to do. And he was buying me clothes, buying me this, buying me that. He was just buying me a lot of stuff. And I noticed that he wasn't buying for himself. So I got really mad at him. And I turned to him and I said, if you're buying these clothes for another man, I am going to take every piece you've bought me, and I'm going to, forgive the language, I'm going to shove it up your ass and down your throat when you die. And he told me why he was doing it. He said, I need a reason to live. I got so mad with him. I told him what I was going to do. told me they find your dead corpse. There'll be nothing but clothes in it. I was really hot. But I stayed. That's what you're supposed to do. Sometimes men do things and you don't understand why. But if you have a good rapport with your husband, when you get through that time, you can ask him, why'd you do this? And if he's honest and truthful to you, he'll tell you. But if you haven't earned his trust, he won't tell you. He'll never tell you. With all that my husband threw at me during that time, I stayed. The only thing I did was cry. Okay, now what you're going to do, I'm going to have to wipe this off because all of you sit there and say, I am going to cross-contamination. But as far as I'm concerned, the garlic and it are going to go together. We're going to put some garlic in here. He says put 2 pieces in, but I put a little more in because I happen to like the taste of garlic. But the recipe says 1 to 2 garlic only. See, we're in spring, so I start thinking of spring. We're going into the 60s, so you know summer is along the way. You're also going to need mayonnaise. I don't know if I have enough for this. I might have to make mayonnaise. I'm not sure about that. I'll find out when I get there, won't I? So relationships are very important. There has to be a bond and a trust. If you break that trust, you can't claim it back. A man might not tell you right away, but if he loves you and you love him, he will share things with you. There's a few things he told me he couldn't talk about, and I said okay, and I accepted it on that note because that was his military days. And I wasn't privy to that because of the kind of work he did for the government. But I understood that. I wasn't upset with it. I am going to put 3 large and a medium in here. Get a good garlic flavor. Now remember, I'm telling you, the recipe only says 1 or 2. And I always go more. Just chunk it in because all this is going to be processed. Because these meats are smoked in salt, you might not need to add anything but black pepper to it because the mayonnaise will automatically have salt. Excuse me. Okay, put this here for now. Let me go get my food processor. Okay, here we go. You're going to need the blade for this if you're using a food processor. If you're using a grinder, you know how to work with a grinder so you're fine. Wasn't that easy? That really smells nice. So see, you don't have to spend $5, $6 for that itty bitty little can. Now, if you don't like kielbasa, just use plain smoked ham. You got it. Mine was a ham butt. It was just about 3 pounds. I'll be back. Well, I don't have to make mayonnaise. You're gonna put some black pepper on this and mix it up as much as you want for your taste. I'm a little heavy-handed with the black pepper with this, like the garlic. But you can make a good amount and spend less. And if you don't want to make a big amount, what you can do is cut the ham and the kielbasa in pieces and put them in the freezer. And then when you're ready for it, you just pull it out. Because this is something that we have a lot of as well. And I am going to boil eggs with this because I think boiled eggs will go nice. Because this is protein and that's protein. And then I've got my vegetables because I made that salad. And then I'm going to take, I think it's the bulgur bread I made. I've got 3 or 4 loaves in the freezer, so I'm not sure which ones I have. I think this is, and we're going to have it with the bulgur bread, I think. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. That's why you don't see me making a lot of bread right now, because I've got too many loaves in the freezer, everything else. And I already showed you how to make mayonnaise, and as you can see, it works. And you don't have to worry about this separating like those quick 5-minute ones. You have to keep theirs in the refrigerator or it separates. So some of those quick videos you see are not as good as you think they are. The steps are left out. But this is known as a cooked mayonnaise that I made. So it has a stabilizer in it. And believe you me, those short videos come up in my Instagram and in my Facebook left and right. And I see how they do it. Sure. A 5-minute bread. 5-minute bread is the one you buy in the store, bring it home and cut it, and you got it. Even that takes a little longer than 5 minutes. There is no such thing as a 5-minute bread. And that's not helping people learn to cook. And like they say, the way to a man's heart. How do you think you can win a man's heart? You think you have sex with him? You think you're always in his face? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. If you can cook, bet you're gonna keep. Your man's gonna stay. That's what I was told all my life. If you can't cook, man, you're in trouble. Because men love good food. They really, really do. You don't have to be a chef, but you better learn your way in the kitchen to make sure the food is flavorful, because his health depends upon it. I mean, women used to, at one time, they could kill their husband just in the kitchen according to what they mix up and how they mix it and everything else. And nobody would know for the better. Well, look how much deviled ham I have. That is a lot. the smoky flavor you get from the kielbasa. Now, if you want more of a smoky flavor, you can get some smoke flavoring and put a few drops in. I really have to buy some black pepper. I am just running out. So I'll show you. I'll add a little bit of smoke flavoring into this as well. All right, this is liquid smoke. We'll just add a little bit of this. See, you can do things with this. It's not that you can't. This will just give a little more of a smoky flavor. And you can make it different ways, but I'm going to be using my mayonnaise up. Because I made a lot, I'm going to use more mayonnaise than most people. So what we don't eat today will sit in the refrigerator. And there'll be something to snack on. Now when you add the smoky flavor, it gets a little like a peppery taste with the pepper. You can taste it. Well, I'm just going to finish up my mayonnaise and put this in the refrigerator until it's time to fix all those dishes that we're going to run out the door with. That's how you make deviled ham. If you wanted a smoky flavor, you add smoke flavoring to it. If you want it more spicy, you can add more black pepper to it. If you want it more salty, you can add more salt if you wish. The choice is yours. But that is the basics. Equal amounts of a kielbasa, a butt ham. You boil them, cook them, then peel off the peelings off the kielbasa, chop it up, put it through a blender, or not a blender, a food processor or whatever, and you add mayonnaise and black pepper to it. If you want it smoky, you add smoke flavoring. If you want it more spicy, add more black pepper to it. If you want it more on the salty side, you can add salt, but that's the basics of making deviled ham. So you take care.